And we are back with the Vacuous perspective. I am Val, and I'm joined always by Nate. And Nate, I'm pretty excited tonight.
We have a very important, influential and prestigious gentleman with us.
Yes, a guest. Is it fair to say long-time listener, second-time emailer, Dan Const?
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, fair to say. I do love an email. I being someone who does podcasts myself, I know how important it is to get interaction with listeners. So
yes, of course.
an opportunity came up for me to email the show, and I jumped at it.
And I'm so glad that I could bring you guys together because you're fellow Duncraigian connoisseurs of
Not
the
many
local
people
cuisine.
know about Hepburn Heights.
Hepburn Heights, yeah. Nate.
The old Koh-I-Noor, yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
yes.
there it was. So if you weren't aware, Nate, Dan was the one emailing you about that restaurant all that time ago with the land centre nearby. Is that the story? Is that how the story goes?
Yeah, DNA. There was a land centre. You used to pay $10 and you were locked in from, well, they called it a lock-in, but you were there from about 10 p.m. till 5 in the morning playing games. So,
and you thought Nate might have been there. You thought you might have crossed paths with him, but it turns out he's not that much of a nerd back then. He wasn't nerding it out.
I wish.
Right. It sounds like a good time.
it was a bloody good time.
I was with my parents at the curry house.
Yeah, right. Yeah, very cool.
You know what? Just a memory. I don't know if this is going to be a whole podcast about Koh-I-Noor, but I don't know if it's even still in business. But they used to have that. A lot of Indian restaurants have it. This like bowl at the counter when you leave, and they've got little pebbles in there that are like a to-go mint. But they're like, it's like an Indian thing. I think it's made of certain spices. So it's like a minty flavor.
Sure.
And you used to get a little spoon and spoon it into your hand, like little pebbles, mints.
No, I missed out on this. I don't think I would have known what it was. So does it look like, is it like Nerds but white?
Bigger, yeah. Nerds is a good comparison. But yeah, it's like a way of, instead of the Mentos, sitting in a bowl.
Right, but is it implied that you're meant to take one? Did Nate miss an opportunity here? Yeah,
absolutely.
Okay.
You're meant to take it.
You meant to.
It's free.
But they don't tell you.
No.
But you meant to.
Meant to.
There you go.
Spewing. Fucking spewing.
Dan, you host Backchat podcast in WA.
In case you haven't noticed.
Yeah, nice t-shirt.
I am wearing this exact t-shirt in real life as well. Like if we turned off the virtual thing, I would be wearing this shirt. It's the only shirt I own. Backchat. We make podcasts, a lot of sports stuff with a former Eagles player who's trying to stay relevant, I guess.
Sure, Will Schofield, right?
Will Schofield. So yeah, it's good time.
He's getting a lot of TV time, I've noticed. He's always doing the Optus Stadium games, the Boundary Rider.
Him and Pav.
Yeah, Pav. So they get an eagle, they get a docker, they get them together.
Exactly, yes. Yeah, so he's getting his face everywhere.
Nice.
He loves it, loves the camera.
Yeah, nice.
Man, he's born for it. He's great.
He's good.
His comments and he's funny. He's very relaxed, casual. He's great.
Yeah. I hear so many good things about him all the time.
Right.
So I love talking about Will. I spend a lot of time with him, but I can only pump his tires that much.
See, I've listened to a bit of your stuff, Dan, and what we're lacking is I didn't know that we needed audience engagement. So thank you for mentioning that because we certainly don't have much of that, but we're going to force our listeners to get in contact with us. But we need a voice. I need a smooth voice. Your voice is a bit more smooth and subtle than mine. Mine's like just painful to listen to.
No,
that's everybody.
Good.
That's what everybody thinks about their own voice.
Yeah, I think that. I think mine's so annoying, and I hear it constantly when I'm editing and stuff. How you'd have the same. Just hearing yourself constantly, it's the worst.
Yeah, it is the worst.
I hate it so much that I listen.
But the difference is, I think that Dan actually he studied broadcasting, right? You went and did schoolwork on that.
Yeah, apparently I've got a hex bill to make podcasts, which doesn't seem right. So paying that off,
it's all right.
But
you got a film degree, it's not. Yeah, it's all good.
My hex, I saw the other day. It's like I think I started with 35,000 or something.
Yeah,
and I left uni in 2019, so it's about 4 years. I think I got 28,000. It just doesn't seem like it's going down.
No, yeah. Well, you only start paying it off when you earn a certain amount and over. So for the first part of most people's lives after they leave university, they're just watching it go up in indexation, whatever it is. It's one of those good loans, but.
And I'm here to tell you that podcasting is flushed with cash.
I bet.
So don't you worry, I'll be paying it off in no time.
Yeah, nice.
I was going to ask you how to monetize this bad boy, but there's no answers. There's no insight.
There's answers. It's just really hard to do, and we're not. We're getting there. We're getting there. But
hey, do you know what I've realized? What I've realized is with our videos, the ones that seem to do the best have some kind of religious undertone.
Right.
So we just had one that went quite well by our standards, and I think it was because we talked about Pope John Paul II.
Well, we talked about Sinead O'Connor, who died, which is also another possibility of why it would be a bit more popular.
But my theory is that
all
the ones that pop up have
element,
some link, to the Catholic Church, because we put in the comments, maybe they're trying to pump it up. So maybe in the tags that you can do for your videos, pop in a couple Christian references, a bit of a Jesus fish or something.
You stole my Jesus fish. I think, what happened was, so we did a video about Chris Lynn, Big Bash player who went to India and played in some of the Big Bash leagues in India, and it went really well. Went to a lot of views, and then I used this tool, and it's built into YouTube, so you guys could do it with your channel as well. You can find out what the people that are watching your videos are searching for. It's there.
That seems invasive.
Yeah, a little bit, but it helps you then prioritize certain videos when you're a content creator on YouTube. So what we found was our top 30 searches in this month where we had really good traction was all Indian searches. So we broke into Indian Twitter with our Chris Lynn video. So maybe you guys are breaking into religion Twitter. So you just got to lean in.
Lean in.
But all we do is bag out religion. So I don't know. Right. You think that would be counterintuitive, but maybe the people that are sort of pushing back on religion, maybe they're into it. Yeah.
Bad press is good press sometimes.
Is it a bit hard doing a WA sports-based podcast when the Eagles and Dockers are doing so poorly this year? I mean, is that tough to watch? Because you got to watch every game. You got to be in the know.
I've been trying to stay slightly positive with West Coast, and I think I've carved out this little niche for myself, especially on Twitter, and I refuse to call it the other thing. On Twitter,
X,
shit. Yeah, where I've just been this positive nuffy for West Coast, and people have been getting around it. But yeah, the WA sports stuff. Luckily we have the Scorchers are decent. That's coming up soon. But Fremantle and West Coast, both trash. I can't.
They nearly got up on the weekend though, right?
Well,
they had that against Essendon. They had it.
They didn't want to win that. There's no chance they wanted to win that game. That would have been the worst possible result in the entire season if they had won that game.
Yeah, losing.
We've gone through 100-point loss after 100-point loss.
And then just throw it all away with a 5-point victory at the end of the year.
With one pointless victory against Essendon and then not get the number one pick could have been the worst thing we've ever done as a club.
So what are they going to do with this number one pick? They're going to trade this for a bunch of first-round picks?
You got to take Harley Reid. He's the future.
Yeah? But he doesn't want to play for the future.
But that's fine. What you do is you draft him. He'll play at West Coast, and they'll welcome in. He'll feel right at home, and then after 2-3 years, he'll get the homesickness thing. I want to go home, and that's when you get a team to pay big because he's developed. He's better than he was when you first drafted him, and then you send him off to wherever he wants to go.
Okay, so presumably he still has 1 year left on his deal or something like that.
Oh yeah. They make.
I don't know how it works. I don't understand. I don't really pay attention to all the restricted free agents and unrestricted and all that.
No, so it's not like basketball or NFL and stuff where if there's 3 years left on a contract in their final year, they can just opt out and then go anywhere they want. Like AFL is a bit more controlled, so he can say, I would like to go to this team, and if you can make that work, please do. And then that's where they facilitate it, and they can get the picks and the players and return and stuff. So it is a bit more favourable to the club in some aspects.
Okay, I don't want to talk about Will Schofield all all day long. But I do have a question about him. Did he? Because didn't he support Geelong, or did he start playing? What other was he with another club before the Eagles, or what's the go?
No,
there?
he's from Geelong.
Geelong.
He supported Geelong all his life, and then he got drafted to West Coast at 17 or 18 or whatever. And now he refers to himself as a Victorian when he needs to, when it's like the right time. But he's a West Australian. He won't leave.
Okay, so he's a bit of a template for what we need to do to Harley Reid. We need to bring him in.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Make him part of the furniture, and he will be calling himself a WA and a Sandgrover before we know
it can happen. It can happen.
Okay, oh, good.
Yeah, I'm confident. Hey, what are you eating now? You sound like when we first started, you were like mid-soup. It sounds like a mid-soup.
I don't mean soup. This is it's a metal straw in a glass. Probably not a great idea, but I'm trying to save the environment, not the listeners' ears. It is a magnesium drink. Just to, dissolve some magnesium berry flavored drink. Okay. But I did just have a broccoli soup, actually.
That sounds
bloody hell. That does sound pretty terrible. It sounds like you got nothing else in the fridge and you can't be bothered going to the shops. But I know that you can be bothered going to the shops. So how do we land on broccoli soup? Of all of the things you could eat, I mean, you could have anything. You could have anything. Got broccoli soup.
Well, look, there's a long, boring story behind it. I'll try to summarize it into 30 seconds. A friend at work. What he does last year, he grew some broccoli, and the quite a few of them, and then the biggest one he lets grow because that's like his alpha male. Yeah, that's his stud. That's his stud. So he lets that one flower, and he thought, I'm going to let that flower. I'm going to keep the seeds for next year. He's got he likes planting things and whatnot. So this year he planted. He dried out, I don't know, the flower, whatever, got the seeds, and he planted heaps of them, thinking that when you plant your own shit, often it doesn't grow as well as you'd think. So I have to go nuts on this. So he's got 50 broccoli plants or whatever all on the go at the moment. He took it all into work because he's a good bloke and offered them to anyone who wanted it, and no one took it after 2 days. So Friday night, I was like, mate, can I just take the lot? And he was like, go for it. So I've got 2 kilos or plus of broccoli.
Right. Now we have to get rid of the broccoli.
Yeah, it's broccoli.
Every dish has broccoli in it now.
Yeah, I was having something for lunch with broccoli in it, and now I find out broccoli has a heinous effect on your bowels.
Oh, great.
The first thing I thought of when you said broccoli soup was like, that's not going to be a pleasant time at your house in the next 12 to 24 hours.
Well, this was frozen broccoli soup that I've reheated. The original broccoli soup was about a week ago. I've been eating broccoli ever since, and
oh my gosh,
gone back to the well. It's actually not as bad as you'd think, but I think I have been more flatulent than I otherwise would have been.
Jeez.
And
it makes me think of the anti-aging guy. What's his name? Bryan Johnson.
Who's Bryan Johnson?
The guy who's reverse aging. He has 111 pills a day. He has like a very strict meal.
Here's the template. Get the pen and paper out.
They reckon he will live to 200.
Get the fuck out of here.
This guy, Brian, he looks younger than his son. Look him up, Bryan Johnson.
Yeah. Okay, we need to get some pictures of this bad boy. Bryan Johnson, I'm pretty sure he's one of the Beach Boys.
Maybe. He's still very young.
I've got British singer-songwriter. That can't be right.
Is it Bryan Johnson?
Well, Bryan Johnson was after the death of Bon Scott, he became the third lead singer of AC/DC.
Look up Bryan Johnson.
Anti-aging?
Young man. Okay, yeah, I've got him.
Okay, yeah, got him.
So he's 45.
Out.
He looks pretty schmick.
He does, but he doesn't look younger than his son. I'm looking at a picture of them side by side. He's got a shit ton of makeup on. His son's like in the background.
He looks like a vampire.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So he's apparently figured it out. Like scientifically, he has figured out how to stop aging. Whoa. So what he eats, I was listening to a podcast and he was telling the guy what he eats, and it's like 3 tablespoons of olive oil a day.
Pen and paper out.
A chocolate-coated mushroom, some sort of like weird pudding, I think, and then he has like 56 pills in the morning, and then the rest of the 111 later in the day, and it's all magnesium and all that ish. So I thought maybe the broccoli soup was like, I don't know, along that vein.
The broccoli soup was fantastic, by the way, because fresh broccoli, it had a lot of flavour to it. Had some bone broth in there. I'm not really hardcore into this stuff.
Okay.
But I'm very suggestionable. Is that the word? What's the word?
Suggestible?
Suggestible.
Impressionable?
Impressionable. I literally had my chiropractor say that it's good to have apple cider vinegar and some salt in some water. And I've been doing it ever since.
Like,
I haven't even looked it up.
Or you just sip on it?
No, I first thing in the morning, I get up and before I do my meditation, I'm drinking like a half a teaspoon of salt in about a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, and I fill up the glass with water.
Sounds like something an old person would do.
Yeah, it does. And I literally have not even Googled it to know if it's any good.
You've just done it. You think it's mind over matter at this point?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Can I read you just a quick paragraph that I've just read from on this Bryan Johnson anti-aging guy?
Yes, please.
He says, "I love life." Johnson says, whose rigid medical interventions have given him the heart health of a 37-year-old. So keep in mind he's 45.
Right.
Heart health of a 37-year-old, skin of a 28-year-old, and lung capacity of an 18-year-old, according to his team of doctors. It says, if we can dramatically show that aging can be slowed and reversed, it would change everything for the human race. He adds, am I scared of dying? No.
I think you are.
Can I read you something about Bryan Johnson as well? It's Bryan with a Y. Okay, yeah. Bryan Johnson, the 45-year-old tech tycoon who wants to keep his internal organs, including his penis and rectum, functioning youthfully, enlisted 17-year-old Talmadge to provide blood transfusions.
I'm so concerned about if you have to spend 14 hours a day to reverse age.
What's the point in living?
Then you're not really living, are you? You're just following a very strict regime that all it does is allow you to continue this for longer than what is normal. He lives till 200, and by the end, he's doing 300 pills a day with 10 of these vials. Has to spend the whole day, just doing stuff to stay alive. I think it's crazy.
He takes. Superhero movies when someone has been living for like 900 years.
Yeah.
And the Bible. In the Bible.
They're about to, in the Bible. And they're about to die. And they're trying to, and like their friend is trying to save them. He's like, please, I'm so old. Like, please let me die. Like, I feel like that's going to be him when he's 200. He's going to be so taxed.
Yes.
Yeah. When he's spending
14 hours a day. Where did that 200 come from? That's so mental.
Oh, I don't know. This is in a highlight of like.
They're just if this trend continues, you'll have the lung capacity of a 6-year-old in 5 years. I'm like, is that a good thing?
Can't hold his breath at all.
What if he takes it too far and he goes full Benjamin Button and becomes a little baby? Then he's really fucked it, the anti-aging thing.
Oh, for fuck's sake, I'm a baby.
I'm useless now.
Yeah, so he uses his own son as a blood boy.
Oh, that's another level. He is a vampire.
No.
How creepy, man. If my dad was like, man, can I have your blood? I'd be like, could you just
die?
I don't know if I'm comfortable.
I'm waiting for him to die from like a car accident or something. Surely this is where it ends.
No, they'll bring him back. He'll have something like in his will or whatever that says you're totally allowed to do whatever to make me live again.
See, it's intense, isn't it? Like that's,
and you can imagine he's already doing this to his son as well. You can imagine he's already given his son a pretty strict regime to follow. A couple of vials of his own blood back into himself.
Oh, he'll be keeping his blood bag boy super healthy. So because he reportedly screened anonymous donors as inverted commas blood boys to ensure he was receiving blood from a person with an ideal body mass index who lived a healthy lifestyle and was free of disease.
Oh my gosh. So there you go. There's the blueprint for everlasting life. You just need people's blood. You just need young blood.
I reckon Trump's doing something like that, hey?
Probably happens a lot.
I reckon he looks
this
all
bloke's doing
right.
it.
I reckon he looks all right for his age. Mentally, he's sort of not super fit.
He's obese.
Yeah, but
he eats Big Macs.
Mentally and physically,
doing?
compared to Biden, like Biden looks like he's on his deathbed and sounds like he's on his deathbed.
Yeah, it is scary watching old people in politics in America. Yep.
I did see Biden scratch his neck yesterday, and when he released his finger from the back of his neck, the skin stayed in one place. And it made him look like he was wearing a skin suit, and it was like posted on a Twitter page called like Illuminati, at Illuminati or something.
Here's your proof, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. His reptilian skin.
The mask nearly came off, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, it is fun.
And how long's Trump going to jail for? I hear he's like, if he's guilty of all the charges, it's like 500 years or some bullshit.
Yeah, that's how the sentencing works over there, isn't it? You get consecutive life sentences for stuff. I haven't read up on it though. I have no idea.
You leave some confidential documents in your toilet and pay off a porn star, and all of a sudden you're in prison for 5 or 6 lifetimes.
You can't. Yeah, well, I don't know.
We've all been there.
How do you guys feel about Ron DeSantis?
I've heard him speak to it a couple of times. He's the other guy, right?
He's the other guy that has no social awareness or ability to like just be a normal person. There's just plenty of videos online of him being at like a function where he just doesn't know what to say to regular people.
That's scary, isn't it?
But
we had a politician in Australia actually say the words, I'm not going to say anything that isn't a carefully thought out scripted remark. So you can't talk off the cuff. That was Tony Abbott. Yeah, he actually said what needs to be taken as gospel is those carefully crafted scripted remarks. I'm like, wow. We literally can't talk
Was this when
anymore.
he did that thing where he just was silent? Someone asked him sort of a question. He was trying to make a
point.
And
he just in the same compilation in a sense,
He's had some moments.
It was all around those 4 years, yeah.
What about Bob Catter? I was just looking at Bob Catter.
He's great.
Let there be 1,000 blossoms bloom. That clip is all time.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to talk about it because 10 people die from crocodiles every year. Like
in Northern Territory. Yeah.
Northern Territory.
Oh my God, in Northern Queensland maybe. Yeah, he had this thing where he just. I think they had a segment called "Changing Gears" with Bob Catter, and
that's right.
Changing gears.
Because he'll be laughing hysterically at something, and then just full on go serious eyebrows, and just let it go on an issue. On
so he goes,
issue.
But I ain't spending any time on it because in the meantime, every 3 months, a person is torn to pieces by a crocodile in North Queensland.
He's passionate.
He's basically saying there's bigger issues than the gay marriage debate. So. Crocodiles, yeah. Yeah, he's a goodie.
It's like distract the public, right? Draw their attention to a different issue. The crocodiles. The real threat.
Yeah, just going back to the Eagles quickly. Luke Shuey retired. That was pretty fresh, wasn't it?
Yeah, today.
So that's another one of the Eagles greats stepping down.
Legend.
Yeah, another legend.
A lot of fans calling for him to retire this season. He couldn't stay healthy. A lot of hamstrings and calves and things like that. But
when you're a premiership hero and a great,
yeah, you let him call time whenever he wants. But he's done it. He's got 3 more games till he hits 250.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
is he fit at the moment?
No, he is. I think he might be injured right now. So there's. Not sure if he'll actually play this year. Hopefully he does, but he might end up one of those people that ends on like 249 games or something.
That's rough.
Well, the purge. We are mid-purge, like me with my broccoli soup. Who else is going to be purged? I mean, Nick Nat is also one of those players that is just constantly unfit. I would have thought he's got a bit longer, like maybe at least a year left, but who knows?
I think he wants to. They all want to stay around as long as possible. I don't think anyone wants to admit like failure of the body. When in your mind you feel like you can keep doing it, so of course you're going to keep trying and trying and trying. But at some point you gotta just go, boys, I can't. I mean, he's getting paid a lot of money to not play.
Yeah, there is that.
So Shuey was the Norm Smith in 2018, wasn't he? The Norm Smith medalist.
Yeah,
Normie.
But
he also kicked that goal in extra time.
Oh, yes, after the
against Port Adelaide, yes. And that was...
He ducked for a free kick and got it. High tackle. We asked him if he did, and he's like, yeah, straight up, ducked. Got a free kick.
Yeah.
There's not much left, actually. I was thinking about the purge. There's not much left from the 2018 team. So you got Bunger's retired. You got Barras, who he's just under siege. He's looking fine. You can't really judge his year because he's playing fullback for a team that's getting pumped by 100 points every week. He doesn't stand a chance. Will Schofield, obviously, the comeback is almost complete. Liam Duggan, he's one of our few. Duggan. Yeah, he's great. The Gov, also never fit. Lewis Jetta, Hutchings.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Yo, also one of those players who's just struggling with injury.
Can't stay on the field.
But what a game did he had an absolute ripper on the weekend.
Yo, yeah, he has had, when he's back and he's healthy, he's actually been pretty good this season. So yeah, whether he probably stays around, I can't see him retiring, but people do earlier in the season saying he should have. But
really, oh jeez,
I think it's because he kept getting injured. It's like, all right,
yeah, okay, enough. Yeah. Maston, he's been gone a while. What's going on with Flying Ryan?
Season-ending injury when he got injured like many weeks ago. But the funny thing, like the annoying thing about AFL teams, particularly West Coast, they don't like to tell the truth. So, or they're just naive to it. So Flying Ryan gets injured. They say, oh, it just looks like a little calf issue. I think he fractured his tibia or something. Did something. Right. I don't know if it was that, but it was way worse. And he definitely wasn't playing again this season. So he's out. That happened ages ago.
Okay. Darling's going all right this year. In the circumstances, I guess. Cripper, always injured. LeCras, forgot about him. Did he retire in 2018?
Yeah. Okay. There's that great video of him being horrible, like awfully drunk, and saying the "You Can't Know What Happened Next" video. That went viral. Yes. He accidentally sent it to a group chat and someone leaked it.
Oh, okay.
It was like it was like a 3 a.m. No, it wasn't 3 a.m. It was like 6:30 in the morning or something. Sitting on a couch, just had a few beers, and he gave the rundown of the game. And so he sent that out to a group, and one person leaked it. Someone put it out online, and it was viral within about 12 hours.
Okay. So JK, of course, having retired. Willie Rioli.
Yep.
Becoming Port Adelaide. He's back. He's back to Willie now. I see.
He is.
And then you got Scott Lycett with Port as well. Shuey, who we were discussing. And Redden.
Yeah, also retired.
And then the interchange. Who's left out of that group? If you can throw your mind back, I don't expect you to.
Dom Sheed, obviously still going. Vardy.
The Vardy party. Yeah.
Basically, everyone who shouldn't have been on the ground for the last play of the grand final. I think that's how it goes, right?
Who was actually vitally part of it.
Oh, all of them. It was amazing. I've seen that. I've watched that video probably 1,000 times.
Yeah, it's so good.
The summary of the game. Oh my God!
I saw it today, and I wasn't even trying to. Sometimes they just come up. I think they were. It was some compilation because that little play really has it all in terms of it's a late goal in a game. It's I think it was the compilation was something like fucking greatest AFL moments or some bullshit like that.
It's that good.
The last two players though, not really. Well, Tom Cole I know, but not well. Daniel Venables.
Yeah, Venez. So Venez is that one of the sad case of being really good and had to retire early, like forced to retire because of concussion.
Concussion.
Oh, really?
He basically, he was on the podcast, and I think 18 to 24 months after his last, the fall that he got concussed with, and he has a migraine constantly, like he lives with a migraine.
Shit.
At times he can't even like be outside because the sun's too bright. He's just from a huge hit. So yeah, he had a good career. He was awesome, but he had to retire early because of it.
That's what I was saying the other week about how the UFC, and I'm a fight fan, how I can't see it continuing in the future because of stuff like this. It's
the
wild.
Concussion stuff. Yeah,
yeah, of course.
Because they'll just get sued, right?
I don't know how it works. I have no idea.
I think it's a balance between the employer, being the AFL, providing a safe place of work as far as is reasonably possible. Like they do everything they can, and then at some point you're taking on some risk. So they go, look, we're not going to allow head-high hits. We're going to stamp out. You know how Port Adelaide didn't go through the concussion testing? They came over the top, fined the shit out of them.
It's always the way if teammates collide that it just doesn't get the same level of care that other like clear player on other opposing team players knocks. It's always like when they hit each other, they just, keep going kind of thing. It's wild. It's like it's the same thing. Clashing heads is still clashing heads. Doesn't matter if you're bloke or not. But that was scary. And that did get looked at, right? The that recent one.
Yeah.
Venables, yeah.
No, Aaliyah, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry, that did.
Because he looked out to me, and I'm a fight guy, so I'm looking for any signs that the person is not conscious. And I'm like, he's out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it looked from the hit, you could just tell.
I mean, in a head clash situation, is that what it was? Was it even a head clash?
I think it was, yeah.
But if you've got a head clash, let's say that there is a head clash, you've got to check both people because that's heads hitting. It's not like he came off better, so don't worry about the other bloke.
Do you guys remember that video, like post game interview, or maybe it was halftime interview, and like the one guy who was concussed and obviously kept playing. And he starts just like stumbling off mid-interview.
Oh, great.
Yeah. And then when was that?
Yeah, and the guy who's interviewing is like, all right, you need to go get looked at. Let me quickly look this up.
Yeah, his eyes pretty much roll back in his head. I think it was a few
5
years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. In what sport? Are we talking about AFL?
AFL.
Wow, okay.
Was it on a talk show or something? Wasn't he...
It was Cameron Ling. Interviewing Dylan Roberton. Sorry.
Let me see if I can.
Let's have a little. He has no clue where he is. He's completely out of it. And Cameron Ling's like, mate, I think you got to get out of here.
Oh, yeah, I have seen this.
This is post-match, is it? Like on the ground?
It's got to be, right? Because he doesn't know what quarter it is, right?
Yeah, I think it might be. I think it's half time. And the hit, they show the hit in the video of him, Black Post interview. They show the video of the hit. It is, whoa, that is bad.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, Joe Rogan has a rule about like interviewing knocked out people or people who are recently knocked out. And the rule is he doesn't do it because
it's not fair, is it?
People don't know what they're talking about.
It's like putting Biden behind a stand and asking him questions. It's just not on.
Got to get those carefully scripted remarks instead of just babbling, right? You can't be doing that.
Hey, what's happened to my man Nate Diaz? Speaking of head knocks, he lost to Jake Paul. I haven't watched or anything, but
that's some brutal stuff as a fight fan.
These fights are rigged, right?
That's what my little brother says. He agrees with that. I don't know how. I tried to probe him on like how does that work? Who's setting it up? How does it? Is it just get paid and lose? Is that what you're thinking it is?
I think we're gonna make a spectacle I can get you paid, but you're not going to win the fight. And Nate Diaz, who's in the twilight, he's not even he's retired, right? He's done.
He is out of his UFC contract, which was he's been stuck in a UFC contract since he won the Ultimate Fighter #2, which was decades.
Yeah. So I'd say it's a nice little pay bump.
Definitely.
If whichever Paul it is, it's Jake, right?
Jake
goes through and says, mate, I'm going to get you a nice tidy little 20 mil. Does that interest you? Yes, I'm interested. All right, we're going to pump this up. Yep. But I don't lose these fights. And Nate goes, no problem, mate, because I'm not there's no benefit in winning that fight.
Yeah.
He's not getting a bigger purse, I assume. He's probably just getting a payday.
I didn't watch the fight, but I'd be able to tell their intent if the punches that they're throwing are meant to knock each other out or whether or not they're just having a good time out there. I reckon I'd be able to work that out. I know Nate Diaz threw a guillotine on in the final round.
Did he?
And it was weird the way this fight came about because they were at a press conference and Nate Diaz is talking shit like he does. He's the man. And he was saying, why are we doing 6 rounds? Why aren't we doing 8 rounds? You know? Right. And Jake's sitting across from him going, you want to do 8 rounds? We'll do 8 rounds. Fine, I'll do 8 rounds. And then in the same panel, he says, fuck it, we should be doing 10 rounds for this shit. We should be doing 10 rounds. Nate Diaz is going, we should be doing 10 rounds. Jake Paul says, all right, man, we'll do 10 rounds. They did 10 rounds.
That seems scripted. That seems all part of the show.
It could be, but why would you, if it's just for a payday, why wouldn't you just do the 6 rounds and be done with it?
Yeah, that's true.
So
more people,
10 rounds.
More people buying, I don't know.
Yeah, no, true. You could be right.
The problem with thinking it's all part of a show is there's nothing they can do. Like whatever happens, and it is the show. Like it's one of those things that you just can't really poke a hole in the story. Do you know what I mean?
Nate Diaz should have been able to outbox.
Are they the same weight class though?
I'd say nah.
For some reason, I feel like Jake Paul's a bit bigger.
He is a bit bigger.
He's a big boy. I saw Nate Diaz training, doing quick uppercuts. Someone was holding a bag and he was doing these quick uppercuts. So he's panting away. And he had just a joint in his mouth. He's just puffing smoke out while he was pounding a bag. Like I don't imagine he was taking the training that seriously, right?
He's been doing that his whole career, but not usually while he's throwing wicked uppercuts. That's a new one. That's definitely a new one. But he lit a joint up at a UFC show years ago. You know how the camera pans around to the celebrities in the house tonight? They go, so-and-so's here, so-and-so's here. Then it cuts to Nate Diaz and he just pulls a spliff out and just starts to light it. And I think they just cut away. I don't know why he did that.
See how once, I guess.
How it's really in vogue at the moment to do these, to have this cross-pollination between sports, particularly boxing and MMA and stuff like that. What I want to see is your man, Val, slap Jesus.
I don't know if he's my man, but yeah, slap Jesus, get him. What are we doing with him?
Taking on Nate Diaz with the Stockton slap.
Oh, in a slap fight. Ooh. I don't know if slap fighting is a thing anymore. He was a slap fighting guy on the show, the first reality show of slap fighting.
Right.
The first season of Dana White's slap fighting thing. Oh,
right. I cannot believe Dana White is behind that. I can't believe it.
It was so bad. And I don't know if it's still going, man. I don't know if they've just nipped it.
Really?
See you later. But with the Jake Paul, Nate Diaz thing, they did say that they'll do a rematch in MMA. He's like, I'll give you 10 mil to rematch me in MMA. And if they do that, sure. That would be
game over,
move.
right?
Yeah, that would be a bad move for him. But Nate Diaz doesn't look great from if you're talking about sort of concussion, early signs of a person sort of slurring their words. He's always kind of had that thing going for him, but
it's a bit worse.
It just doesn't look good when you're punching on, for money. And what also doesn't look good is the way that trainers have to behave around their fighter, which is you're the man, you're going to go out there and knock him out. Looks good. He looks good. Like the coach will be going, oh, he looks good. If he looks good, he should be able to knock out this YouTube guy. That's just the way I feel about it. If you're telling me that Nate Diaz is looking good, he should be able to destroy people. So it's not very genuine, is it? All the pre-fight hype is what I'm trying to say.
part of the show.
It's very much part of the
You
show.
guys have seen X-Arm, have you, by any chance?
X-Arm?
I think it's called X-Arm.
No, what's this?
I believe that they bind. It's the combination of arm wrestling,
X-Arm greatest hits,
and punching. I think you're arm wrestling. You're attached at the arm. But I'm pretty sure you're allowed to punch with your other arm. Great.
You got a free hand while you're arm wrestling. Why not use it? Is that the idea?
Oh boy, it's brutal. I'm just watching something now. It seems like the arm wrestling aspect of it gets thrown out the window.
Yeah. It's just like you shake someone's hand, don't let go, and then it's fight on. Game on.
Oh, right. So they're not trying to put each other's hand down like a traditional arm wrestle. It's like you just connected at the hands. I see.
Is that just to keep you close together?
Just so you can't you can get punched.
This?
So there's another thing you should pop into your Google feed there, Dan, which is phone box fighting. They literally put two men in a phone box and they fight in there.
Oh my gosh.
Like the cage is too big. Like the cages and the boxing rings, they're just too big. There's too much room for the fighter to move around. Like, let's get them literally in a phone box. Yeah. I'm not lying.
Oh my gosh. I didn't want to say this. Like, I don't know if
terrifying.
You guys are big in Russia, but as soon as I saw the thumbnail on YouTube, I was like, I bet those guys are Russian. And then I clicked it, and the names at the bottom are very Russian.
The only people who are doing this are the Russians. They've got MMA where it's set in a playground, like a jungle gym, but it's MMA. So you can run around and go up high, get the high ground. But at the end of the day, it's just people punching on.
What is the strategy?
They do like 2v2, which is terrifying. They'll do a 5v1. It's fucking wild.
What do you mean a 5v1?
They'll have a guy who just is better than five other guys.
So they have
they're not very good.
Like me versus Conor McGregor.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it felt like. But in the 2v2s, all that happens is that one guy gets punched out. You know, someone will have him in. He'll be just standing in the guard, just raining down punches, and the ref will say, "This guy's out."
And then it's a gangbang.
Just a 2-on-1 where someone's just getting punched in the head when they're just trying to survive. It's not very. It's.
I get very uncomfortable. I've seen the 5-on-5s, and I'm having a good time when there's 5 individual fights going on. I'm like, this is okay. Like, this is fun. It's just like,
when people are just coming in for the king hits.
Yeah, as soon as one dude gets tapped and it becomes a 5-on-4, I start getting uncomfortable with what's happening because you see the dominoes start falling.
Yeah,
and
it doesn't ever turn around, does it?
It doesn't. There's been no comeback. It's whoever wins. They should stop the fight at that point. It should be like a team death match, and then once one person beats the other one, it's like, well, the whole team.
Yeah, you're wiped. Yeah. But they just punch on. It's terrifying.
How long do you have to fight on knowing that you're just going to get beaten up? How long do you have to put on the show that you're still there and trying?
I have no idea what's going through these people's minds.
Because you don't need to take that unnecessary damage. Just tap, right?
Yeah, but if you're the first guy to tap, you're condemning your fellow brethren to a beating.
Oh, no, but I'm saying when once the dominoes are falling.
Sure, tap.
Yeah, I mean, you're done. Once you're outnumbered.
Yeah.
Speaking of tap, can I tap out for 2 minutes to sort my children who
of course, certainly
I can hear in the background
going
of course. Crazy?
You certainly can.
I'll just mute my mic. I'll come back in
no probs.
90 seconds.
I don't want to be contributory negligent for your
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And it would be documented as well, like if he was staying there. And
correct. Right, that's evidence.
Hey, so let me talk to you about Mandalorian because I've finished it now.
Oh, go on. What do you mean you finished what? You're up to date.
I'm up to date.
Have you watched the Book of Boba Fett?
No, I'm going to... Well, the whole point of me watching Mandalorian was so I can watch Andor.
Oh. No, the 10 and the 10.5 is what you're saying.
What's the 10?
Well, our mutual friend said that the Mandalorian's a 10 and Andor's a 10.5.
I wanted to know what a 10.5 was, yes.
Yeah, and now you get the chance to do it. That's pretty exciting. I think actually Dan is also a fan of Andor. I could be talking out of school here, but I'm pretty
he
sure
likes
he's
Mandalorian. I'll wait for him to return.
I think he has watched it.
Yeah, cool. I didn't want to talk about it if he hadn't if he had no idea what we were talking about.
So how many seasons of The Mandalorian are there? 3, right?
Yeah.
So what happened at the start of season 3? Can you talk about that?
Well, where I left you last time was the end of season 2. I think I was late in season 2, and there was an episode. Then? Well, Bill Burr came back. They picked him up.
Yeah, Bill Burr's back. Great, back. Loves it. Big fan of the Star Wars.
And there was a lot of repeat characters. Actually, they did that quite well.
They're bringing it all back. Yeah. Okay. Because I've watched it all, but it was a while ago. So I'm sort of using you as a way to tap those memories.
Yeah, and I think I'll be able to trigger some of that because what they do is that Mando takes Bill Burr to some Empire facility because they need to find Moff Gideon's ship because Grogu, I don't even think we know his name at this point, has been abducted by Moff Gideon.
Oh, my God.
And they go...
Actually, I'm hoping that Dan is up to date with The Mandalorian because I'm not sure if he is. I hope he is.
Well, this is only late season 2. He'll be back before we get too far. But they go to this Empire facility that seems to be a mining base and they put on stormtrooper outfits and just drive a vehicle in there somehow. And Bill Burr can't use the Empire's computer because he's registered. It scans your face. Oh, no. I think Bill Burr doesn't want to go in there because there's some bloke that he used to work under that he doesn't like and he thinks he'll be recognised because you have to take your mask off to be scanned.
Got it.
So in his infinite wisdom, Mando decides he can go in there, take off his helmet, do a big reveal because they love a big reveal, I've realised.
They love that. Yeah, it's the first time you've seen his face, right?
A second time. I think he took it off for some reason. It's the second time you see his face. But what's hilarious is the machine scans his face because it just needs to scan a face to get access.
Yes. I had the same problem when I watched it. Yeah, go on.
They don't take the next step of running it against their database of Empire employees.
No, just get a face scan in.
I was
so confused by that.
Yeah. Hell?
I thought the same thing. I thought, isn't it just going to say access denied? Thanks for coming.
The craziest plot hole I've ever seen.
Yeah, I remember seeing that and thinking the same thing. Why did that work?
When he was doing it, I was like, well, this is a dumb idea.
This is going to work? Yeah, it's just going to go red lights everywhere. Then people with guns are going to walk in. They're going to start shooting the place up. This is going to work. This is the worst idea we've had yet. Any face will do. That should be the tagline of the Empire's operating system. Any face will do. Yeah, just pop your face in and you can have access.
That's what's hilarious about some of this technology. Some of it is so flawed. Like, that's one. The other thing that's so flawed is how on all the TIE fighters and all the aerial ships, they can only fire their laser beams forward like they're in a World War II dogfight.
Yeah. Yep.
Why haven't they figured out it's in the fucking, when is it? Like 10,000 years in the future?
It's actually in the past.
Is it?
Yeah, it's in a galaxy. It's in a distant galaxy long ago or something.
I should just say a more advanced civilization, a far more advanced civilization.
Spacefaring. Yeah.
Absolutely spacefaring. They can't have an opposable laser beam that just locks on to the ship and just shoots it out of the air. Like,
you got to remember the TIE fighters weren't designed on a distant planet long ago. They were designed in 1975 by some bloke who grew up watching probably those World War II films, and it's probably the best they could come up with.
It's funny how certain things they have to stick with because they were like, otherwise the story doesn't work. Like, we can't make it exciting because we can't be doing aerial fights if they're just targeting each other with lasers and instantly destroying them.
Sure, but TIE fighters are iconic useless technology. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's built into the Star Wars brand that stormtroopers can't shoot and TIE fighters are weak as fuck. And you just shoot them once and they blow up. It's totally fine. And their lasers only go one way. You want to talk about lasers, though?
Yeah.
Lasers. So the color of the lasers in Star Wars changes over the generations, right? In the original trilogy in the 1970s, the good guys shot red bolts, from their ships.
Yeah.
And the baddies shot green bolts.
They did, didn't they?
Yeah, TIE fighters shoot green shots.
Yeah.
X-wings fire red shots, right?
Yeah.
So in the prequels, which is set 30 years before or whatever, I have to look this up now. I'm pretty sure that the clones fire green shots and the droids, like the droid armies, they fire the red shots. So it's reversed.
Well, you got to know who's firing at who, right?
I think they're trying to give you a hint as to who the baddies really were, which are the clones eventually. You know what I'm saying? It's not they're the good guys, but they're shooting the bad guy bolts. Hang on a minute.
So a TIE fighter's good guys then, by that logic?
No, bad guys. But
they're firing green.
The clones were good guys in the sense that they were just a clone army for the Republic, but the Republic went shithouse and became the Galactic Empire. So what they're saying is that the green bolts are the baddies the whole time. You know what I'm saying? The green lasers, the baddies the whole time.
Sorry, Dan, if you just need to catch up, we're talking about The Mandalorian.
Oh, great.
Where are you
done
up to
season 1. Done season 1.
Okay.
Oh, my God. Okay. For some reason, I thought you'd watched more than that. Did you watch any of the other Star Wars products recently?
Tried to. There was one that I struggled to get into. I can't remember what it was called now, but I really like the first Mandalorian. Oh no, I think I've watched all of them. You hated the Obi-Wan one.
Obi-Wan,
the Obi-Wan
Kenobi,
one.
Yeah, show.
Kenobi, yeah.
Yeah.
I really liked it. You picked out every plot hole possible.
No. I just thought it looked pretty cheap, right? I just thought it didn't look very good. But I think that, and I've said this before, that I think that for that one moment that I really enjoyed in the later episodes, for that one moment, I find it to be the best moment in Star Wars ever, is in this crap show that I hate. You know what I mean?
Really?
Wow.
So I think, although it's not a great show in my opinion, I think it's worth the grind because the juice is worth the squeeze in this case.
Oh, is it?
Ooh. Okay.
Okay, I haven't seen it. I've got too many.
You haven't watched Obi-Wan, have you, at all? No.
No, I've got too many juices to squeeze. Too many oranges out there.
I know.
There's a juicy one out there. It's a film called Buried. That's worth the small cup of juice that you get at the very end of the movie. It is a grind. It's Ryan Reynolds in a coffin for an hour and a half.
Oh, I've heard about this.
Shit.
Yeah, right.
So it's a dramatized true story, is it?
No, I think it's completely... Oh, maybe. No, I can't imagine this being a real story at all. But it's no flashbacks, no cuts to anything else. It is literally Ryan Reynolds in a box for an hour and a half. How? Just watch it.
Okay, all right. That's on my homework list.
It's one of those things where, you're watching it for an hour and a half, Ryan Reynolds in a box, but then that little juice at the end is worth the grind.
Amazing.
I think it'd have some high ratings on. What's your thoughts on the Rotten Tomatoes ratings? Like, do you look
find
at
it
those
very strange. I always see it's the reverse of the critic score. That's always what I see with Rotten Tomatoes. Whatever the critics say, Rotten Tomatoes will say the opposite. So I'm always confused by internet reviews. But I'm sure it's it sounds like it's got a bit of an indie quality to it, right? 2010.
Yeah, so it's got an 87% tomato meter and 65% audience score
and a 7 out of 10 on IMDb.
It's good.
What is the tomato meter supposed to be exactly? Like who's rating it, and it's a good thing, right?
Buried is certified fresh.
That's
with a tomato on it.
So yes. And that's how you can tell.
Why a tomato? I know that they threw like the idea of Rotten Tomatoes is that you throw rotten tomatoes at like fucking peasants or whatever. Isn't that the idea? You come out in the is that where it first started, right? Where you have the gallows or whatever. They come out, you're a prisoner, and you've got your head in the chopping block thing, and your arms.
They ditch vegetables at you.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the origins of Rotten Tomatoes are in terms of this thing, because didn't it start out being a bit of like it was more of a let's just shit on movies thing to begin with, and then it became a sort of go-to for people for insight into like recent films or old films even. Sharknado, 74% Rotten Tomatoes. What do I get at? What does that mean? Is that certified anything? Yeah, no, see, I don't know.
Okay, so Rotten Tomatoes, this is from Rotten Tomatoes though, about Rotten Tomatoes. Rotten Tomatoes great. And the Tomatometer score
great.
Are the world's most trusted recommendation resources for quality entertainment.
Yeah. I would agree with that.
Okay, what is the Tomatometer? Why can't I say that? Based on the opinions of hundreds of film and television critics, is a trusted measurement of critical recommendation for millions of fans.
But what are we meant to trust? Are we meant to trust the tomato score or the audience score? Because
critics give tomatoes, I think, and audience give audience, which seems obvious.
And it's always the reverse, because the tomato meter for Sharknado, 74% tomato score, 33% audience score. That's exactly the opposite.
When at least 60% of reviews for a movie or TV show are positive, a red tomato is displayed to indicate its fresh status.
Great.
When less than 60% of viewers for a movie or TV show are positive, a green splat is displayed to indicate its rotten status. When there is no tomatometer score available, which could be because the title hasn't released yet, or there are not enough ratings to generate a score. And there's actually a whole couple of paragraphs about what is certified fresh.
Bloody hell.
A consistent tomatometer score of 75% or higher, at least 5 reviews from top critics. And there's a few other little categories.
So Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse 2023, kids in action film, 95% tomato score, 94% audience score. You can lock that in. That's going to be a good time. I think that's what the website's all about, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Apparently you can lock that one in. That's going to be a good one.
So I've just found an article, collider.com, whatever this is, 13 notable divides between audience and critic scores on Rotten Tomatoes.
Great. Someone's done the research.
Someone has done the research, because I was interested to see if there was any big ones. So apparently the number one, the biggest divide in critic to tomato score is, as I scroll forever to finally get to number one, a movie called The Boondock Saints, from 1999. It has a what are we looking at? 64% difference. It's tomato meter or tomato. What do you?
Let's go tomatometer. Yeah,
tomatometer. Score on the site is 27%. Audiences on the other side raved about this action thriller, giving it 91%.
Wow. So the critics, they just didn't get it?
No. Venom is number 2.
Venom?
The biggest gap.
Wow. So was that the critics saying it was good and everyone else saying it was shit, or was it the other way around?
Was, audiences show that 81%.
Wow, they loved it.
Critics 30%.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
I think tomato meter makes a lot more sense, but I like tomatometer now. The more
it's just the way you struggle with it is the fun bit. Yeah.
Hey, have you seen Dope Sick on Disney Plus?
No.
Dope Sick.
It's so good. It's really good.
I think I was meant to. Was that on my homework list?
Yeah, it was. I just finished it this week. Get it back on the list.
Yeah.
It's about the Oxycontin epidemic in the US.
Sounds like just lovely viewing. When do you time that? Is that just before bed viewing?
It's actually not. It's a bit. I wouldn't say it's feel good, but it's not as. It's not. It's kind of depressing, but it won't ruin your day completely.
Great. That's great.
It's not as gritty and visceral as it could be, because it is by nature deals with sort of drug addicts and things like that.
Yeah, of course. I mean, how lighthearted can it be? Dan, I wonder something. I don't know how much of our chats that we've had you want made public through this forum, but you've done something that I've never done. I've always wanted to do, and I have no idea how you even did this. But you did stand up. Is that true?
Yes.
You did stand up.
I did stand up when I was living in Richmond, Virginia.
So you were studying abroad in Richmond, Virginia.
Studying abroad, that's right. And I knew no one there, and it was very early in my time there. And what I wanted to do, and I've still got the Google Doc somewhere, probably in my Google Docs, probably where they live. It was meant to be a really bad set. So it was meant to be like I wasn't trying to be funny.
No,
I was trying to just flop really hard and see if I could just get through it. And it was just an open mic.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
And I ripped half of my material from other comedians and just made it not funny. Like the joke, just made it not funny. And there was personal jokes in there about my friends. No one would know anything about.
Right, drop a personal joke.
I was like joking about a friend, Joel Sinek, how he like left his jumper on the bus or something. I can't remember what it was. I was like, it's just classic Joel, right? I waited for applause, waited for a response, just nothing, just absolutely nothing.
Oh
It only went for 5 to 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So did you crash and burn, or did some people find?
Absolutely, no one gave me anything. Not a single.
I thought where you're going with this is that you were trying to crash and burn, but it was going to have this like, but like I fucking killed it. I don't know how I did it.
No, it wasn't. Do you know what? The material wasn't bad enough where people were like hissing at me, they weren't booing me. It just was not funny at all. People were just listening, like waiting for something, and then got nothing.
That's amazing.
I think the thing that intrigued people was that I had an Australian accent.
Got it.
So people there were like, maybe this is like funny in their culture or something.
Yeah.
So they didn't turn on me, but they didn't give me love.
You didn't drop a "oh come on" in there, did you?
I did.
You did.
I ripped a Brent. Because I did something about from that set that he does when the Swindon lot come in.
Yes.
I stole like 3 of his jokes from that. I think I said the piss pronunciate my worms. And
I'm not very good at public squeaking. I piss pronunciate most of my worms.
Yeah. and then I think it's it. And then I said that's all right. There's better ones than that, and then just they kept going.
Did you do the atomic bomb one?
Yes, I did. But I made it. So the next town over, I think Charlottesville.
Yeah.
I said a joke about Charlottesville and Virginia, and I used there was a hurricane or something, and there was no damage in there was $0 of damage done in Charlottesville. I can't even remember what it was, but it was meant to be like a funny thing about the town next to us. But I think it may have been not an appropriate time. I think there may have been something bad that happened in Charlottesville around the time.
But the Brent joke is, welcome to the Swindon lot. And it's a good thing you moved here because I heard they dropped an atomic bomb in Swindon. Did almost 25 quid worth of damage or something. I think that's the joke, right?
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. He gets the bad response. So yeah, that was that. I'll never do that again. That was like, I have absolutely nothing to lose, and it was I was walking past a pub, and it had open mic comedy. I went in. I could sign up.
That's so amazing.
And I saw it on like a Monday. It was like a Monday thing. So I signed up the following Monday, and in that week I just wrote a bunch of stuff. Let me bring the doc up. I'll see if there's other.
Please. I'm impressed that you did it.
That's an amazing thing to do. Yeah.
I think having the Australian accent, like you said, may have saved you somewhat because they would have just enjoyed listening to you because of your curiosity.
Stand up. I've got 50 trays of fries. That's an erotic fiction I wrote. Stand up set. Here we go.
An erotic fiction, 50 trays of fries. Yeah. Have you actually written anything in that? I'd love to get my hands on that.
Yeah. No, it's not for public. I can read you a line or two, but
why did you write it? Was that just creative writing?
The erotic thing?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think I was like, I had a small, like when you think of like a good app, but you don't actually think of the app first. You think of the name of the app first. And you're like, that's got to be an app.
Yeah.
I thought
so it's just
of
a blank document.
Well, I thought of 50 Trays of Fries as like a funny title of an erotic novel that's fast food related. And then I was like, well, I need to write that. So then I started writing it out. So this is the first in my stand-up.
I'm really into this 50 Trays of Fries. Is it 2 feeders? Do you reckon they're 2 feeders that are into each other? Is that what's going on here?
It's like one guy battling with his desires to eat fast food and choosing that food over the love of his life.
Oh.
And then like the Hamburglar approaches his partner.
Is the Hamburglar the purple one? The little
That's
gremlin? Grimace. Which one's Hamburglar is the robber one.
Hamburglar is just the little robber.
Ah.
Yeah. So the first on my stand-up set, I've got them numbered and I've got 1 through 6. Okay, this is what I said about Joel Sneak. Do you know who this is? Number 6. This is what I ended with. Do you know who Joel Sneak is? Right. Of course, no one.
Great.
Do you know who Joel Sneak is? Like, repeat it.
Wow.
Right. Then who's this? And then said, better, grab your sweater. That was it. It's
a great personal joke.
Classic Joel. And Joel, my friend Joel, I don't think he's ever said that in his life. I just tried to make it something that was okay. So the first thing I said, hi, I'm Dan from Australia. Right. Yeah. So introducing yourself.
Good stuff.
Worst thing you can do for a comic set. It's good to be in a bar with you all. Okay. Great. I worked in bars all my life. I served my very first White Russian when I was 8 years old. His name was Vlad.
Yeah, great.
That was what I opened with.
That's good.
Oh gosh, I've forgotten I had done this. Was anyone here from Nova? That was the other town. I heard they dropped an atomic bomb on Nova. There was about $12 damage.
Nice.
Wait, sorry. With that, when you do those jokes that are in something else, are you just relying on the fact that I haven't seen that before, or do you just not really care? Okay.
No, he's quoting the UK office at that point.
In Richmond, Virginia, which is like a bit of country. I don't know. I just felt like it was different enough for people to be like, I think I may know what that is.
And what year was this as well?
2018.
2018. So Virginia must be near West Virginia, I assume.
Yeah, it's east of West Virginia.
Dope Sick is set in West Virginia. So you could have made some pretty cool drug jokes and Oxycontin jokes. They would have gone down pretty well, I reckon. That was heavily ravaged by the opioid epidemic.
Sure. I actually, when I was studying there, did a story about the opioid epidemic.
Well, there you go.
So that number 4.4. So
yeah, 0.4.
Is this? Well, if you don't like jokes, how about a song? This was written by Anne Calloway, one of the most talented songwriters around. Which from that point I bust into, she was working in a bridal shop in Flushing, Queens, till her boyfriend kicked her out in one of those crushing scenes. So I sing the entire Nanny theme song. That's all there.
I love it.
When you were how did you get to the bit where it's like did you do the watch out CC?
Yeah. Now the father finds her beguiling, watch out CC. Yeah. And the kids are actually smart
smiling.
Such joie de vie.
Joie de vie.
She's the lady in red while everybody else is wearing tan. The flashy girl from Flushing, the nanny named Fran.
Great song. This is 2 weeks in a row we've talked about Fran Drescher.
There you go.
Oh, she's a saint. Big fan of Fran.
Yeah. I love it how when you were writing your stand-up routine, you actually had a part where you just assumed that they wouldn't be laughing at your jokes, and you had so you don't like jokes. Well, assuming you don't like jokes. That's how confident you were. Like, this is where I'm going to go when they're hating it.
Hey, I'd have something in the tank ready for if it wasn't going well. Definitely.
Yeah, need to back up. So that was the stand-up set. That lives in my Google Docs, and I don't know if that will ever see the light of day again. But
well, now you've shared it with about 12 listeners.
I think it's if you have any inkling of enjoying talking in front of people, go find a stand-up open mic and just go for it.
I'm going to put it on Put it on my homework.
Just go bomb.
Yeah.
Go bomb. There's nothing you can lose.
The thing that I've always done in my head is I always think that, no, once I've written the perfect joke, I'll do it. And I'm like, I'm never going to, that's not how this works. You're meant to go in there and fall flat on your face multiple times. That's what you're meant to do. I think someone said, I think it was my little brother. He said, you probably write that perfect joke and it's probably shit. I'm like, it would be. Yeah, he's dead right. Like, it would be a shit joke.
You've probably said the perfect joke and you've had like amongst friends and it's probably got a laugh. You didn't realize.
It's on the list. Look, it's on the list.
Hey, let's do it. Let's do it, Val. Go to Adelaide for a weekend. Go to have a good time in Adelaide. I love how I have to leave the city.
Well, you can't accidentally have someone in the crowd.
What he's trying to encourage there is the freedom to fall flat on your face with people you're never going to see again. So it's an added little. It's a benefit. We don't have to get on horse and carriage for 4.5 weeks to get to Adelaide. We can just nip there and do it.
I'm going to Egypt in 3 weeks. So
do it there.
Yeah.
Mate.
Do a stand-up set in Cairo.
You have to. I'll lend you this stand-up doc.
Yeah, you can just go for
it. Yeah, look,
I just can see Nate like in the future just not doing very well. Having a rough time on the stage and just saying, you guys know the Nanny theme? Anyone heard of the Nanny? anyone ever watched the Nanny?
Right, then what's this?
I do appreciate the Brent stuff.
Yeah. Look, I'm not a comedian. I'm not writing my own material. It was just a complete montage of other people's work. And made up stuff.
So when did you write it? Because couldn't. Okay, so were you right? Yeah. Were you planning to do this? This was something you'd been thinking about?
So I just walked past a bar, saw the sign, and it was a Monday thing. Yeah, saw the sign, Ace of Base, and thought I'm going to come back here next Monday and do that. And so then that week I sat down and I wrote it.
Got your 6
When I said
things.
in that week I wrote it, I probably went home and did it in about 19 minutes.
It's fantastic.
I don't think I spent much time on it.
That's fantastic.
Seems like you just watched The Office and jotted down a few notes.
Watch the Nanny.
Watch The Office. I think I've got something here.
Yeah.
Dan, on your pod, you ask every guest the same question about their best off-field sporting achievement, right?
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows yours who watched the pod. Everyone knows yours who watched the pod, but our listeners might not know.
Right.
What's your claim to fame sporting-wise? And take as much time as you want.
Wait, what's an off-field sporting achievement?
So most of their guests are like AFL players. So, you go, Dan.
Yeah, we say you can't – say we're talking to an AFL player – you can't tell us like, I kicked 5 goals in a game. I'm not interested in what you can do in your profession because that's what you do as a job.
That's your job.
So tell me, that's your job. So tell me your greatest thing you've ever done, like in a sporting field, off the AFL.
Yes, I see.
So a lot of people go junior sporting activities. So mine, the way this actually started on the podcast, like a very episode 1 of when we started, I brought in my trophy from a cricket match. And so when I was 12 playing for the Chewett Hill Lions, I was in the grand final, didn't get much of a bowl usually, but I got a bowl in the grand final because I think the game was basically over. I think they'd already won. And I'm pretty sure in junior cricket, you play out the overs. They don't just go game's over.
Yeah.
Because if a team gets bowled out for 11, the game can't be done in 25 minutes. So they play out the overs and a team might just win by 600 runs or something.
Right. Take 30 wickets. That is demoralising.
Yeah, exactly. So I get the ball and I bowl 5 wickets for 16 runs, which is a tremendous spell.
A huge spell.
They probably should have been bowling me more. Coming in leg spin. So as a 12-year-old, what most people do, slow bowls or a bit fast. No one's pulling out anything fancy, but I was ripping in leg spinners.
Oh, shit.
I had this ability to, I think because I couldn't bowl fast.
We grew up watching Shane Warne. We all wanted to be leg spinners, yeah.
Bowl 5 wickets, 16 runs. I was on a hat trick. Last two balls of the game, wickets, and then all off season, pumped, like coming back first ball of the
Right, you get. Do
next
they
game.
give you the first ball?
No, but just my first ball.
Your
I was
first ball was
I'm
hat
riding
trick
a hat trick. I've
opportunity.
been thinking about it for 6 months, 7 months or something. I'm pretty sure I bowled it off the pitch, like no ball off the pitch. It was a woeful.
That doesn't
ball.
count. That's a wide, right? We're still on the hat trick.
Yeah, so technically, 5 for 16, and that trophy has lived in our studio over the last 2 years, and it's just been a good talking point for, Shane McManus, legend of the Fremantle Dockers, comes in, and we go, okay, what's the greatest thing you've ever done, not on the footy field? And he goes, oh, easy, I used to race pigeons. Like, he was like an elite pigeon racer when he was 16 or something.
Oh my God, pigeon racing's a thing?
Pigeon racing's a big thing. It's huge. People love it. They get around it.
I like it better than shooting, but
oh yeah, but they do. I think they say that they treat them really well, but I don't think they do. I think the way that they can train them is by like starving them of food and sex.
Great.
So that when they
instill a sense of urgency.
When they release the food or whatever at the end when they're racing, they're like, I really need that. So. That's mine. You guys must
wait. But
who gave you
racing?
What
about this pigeon racing? What's going on here? So you release them from a cage. They're free range at that point, are they? Or are they all inside an enclosure? Okay. So then you train them. There have been studies around how pigeons can have like track back to where they live.
Homing
There's
pigeons,
a lot of
classic.
Homing pigeons.
They used to use them to carry little letters, right? It was the text message of the 18th century.
There's thoughts around like magnetic fields of the earth and something that's in their brain
how they navigate,
that allows them to navigate back home. I don't know if enough studies, like I think it's one of those things where like they think they know how they do it, but they still can't be certain.
And they can obviously travel quite a distance is the concept.
So far.
Yeah, right. That is fascinating.
Me too. How do
it's pretty badass.
And while you're doing
really
that, Dan, who gave you the best? Who gave you 100 kilometers?
Yes,
that's not bad. That
races
covers some
generally
pretty good.
Between 100 kilometers and 1,000 kilometers.
Oh my God,
that's like almost to Exmouth.
That's a big trip.
Yeah.
Who gave you your best reaction on the pod to your 5 for 16? Who juzzed you up the most? Justin Langer gave you a juzz up. Oh, that's nice.
Or actually, he went the negative. Actually, he went, if you bowled one of them, I'll smack you over the fence. Like he went really aggressive.
He just can't get out of a competitive mindset.
No, not surprising at all that Justin Langer went hardcore with it.
That's probably how he's created so many diamonds as well, coming down hard.
Of course.
Instilling that pressure. Yeah.
I think that was the biggest response I got from it. Some people are just like, oh yeah, that seems pretty good. I think there's one other cricketer, Mitchell Johnson, who's also a cricketer. I think he was like, oh, it's pretty good. Like any cricketer that says, yeah, that's decent, like I'm up and about.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that'll make that's the one.
That will resonate with them.
Oh, absolutely. They'll be thinking about it.
Were you asking about our ones? Well, I don't even know what pitch I'm actually on.
I would love to know what yours are.
Well, for you guys, it doesn't matter because you're not linked to like a professional sport, so you can pick absolutely anything.
Oh, mate. All right, MVP, softball.
Right.
Coaches were the parents.
And your parent selected you as MVP.
Yeah, because Brody got it the year before. My other brother.
A dynasty.
I think my older brother won MVP. The next year I won MVP. I'm pretty sure Mum was coaching. Not sure. No, she was definitely coaching. No, but we won the grand final the first season we ever played. That was pretty. That's my biggest one. Yeah, that's.
Are you brothers on the team?
Yeah, both brothers on the team.
That's good.
Not both. Me and Brody were on the team. Yeah.
You did baseball as well, didn't you?
Yeah. Played baseball, not as successfully as the softball career. So we had one season where it was the rookies. It was like the rookie. It was like a Disney movie. We've never played before. Mum's coaching, Dad's coaching, I think, and I think there was other coaches as well, but I can't. It's hard to remember. It's so long ago. And we ended up winning the grand final first season we played. Next season, me and the older brother were separated because he was in the next sort of thing. Like he was in the next age limit up. So we got split up. And then the next year we were back together again. I don't know if we won again. We may have won again. What about you, Nate?
Jesus. Well, what comes to mind is it's more I overcame a difficult circumstance rather than it wasn't extreme success, but it's because I started at such a low point that just to salvage the day was an achievement in itself.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Wow.
When I first started working, when they put on Friday night drinks, I'd get a little bit carried away because it's free beer and you can't dangle that in front of a student or someone that has a student mindset. Yep. So I would start my Friday night at 5 p.m. or 4:30, and you're hitting it hard because you don't have the money to sustain a big night out, so you need to fuel up.
Yep. So that's the old mindset. Yep, that's the mindset.
So come the last train out of the city at 2 a.m., I'm sitting on one side I'm blasted, right? So I don't know where I am. And then all of a sudden I realize I'm sort of half asleep. I realize that the train is behind me and the doors are open. And I think, holy shit, I've nearly missed it. And I jump onto the train. I sit down in the seat and next thing I know, the train's at the end of the line. I've fallen asleep on the train. My phone's on the floor and my battery's out. I don't know why my battery's out. This is an old Nokia phone where you can slide off the back.
Oh, my God.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know why I was dismantling my phone, but I put it back together. I hop into a taxi. This is back before Ubers. And I say to the guy, Warwick Road exit of the freeway. He turns around to me and he says, where do you think you are, mate? And I was like, well, look, to be honest, I don't know. I think I'm at the end I'm at Clarkson, right? The last stop on the Warwick line because I wanted to get off at the Warwick train station. Oh, no. And because last week I had missed the train, I'd fallen asleep and I went 2 stations past because I was drunk. Right. And then I called my dad and he came and picked me up. This time I was like, I'm not putting him, I'm further away now. I'm all the way in Clarkson. I really need to sort this out myself. And I'm in Mandurah. I got on the Mandurah line. I got disorientated at the train station. Boy. I know I'm getting to the sporting part of it. Okay. So the guy needs to get fuel. I have to pay $200 up front and I had to pay him another $40 when I get there. So it's $240 cab ride. I've got footy the next day. I didn't tell any of my friends because I was too embarrassed about that I'd fallen asleep going the wrong direction. And I've never in my life played full forward. But on the team sheet, there's my name. I'm starting at full forward.
Full forward, huge.
And I'm feeling awful. I'm a halfback flanker. I don't play forward at all.
Yep.
I vomited at halftime.
Yeah, people thought it was because you were just so committed and you were exerting, putting everything into it.
Probably. And I kicked 2 goals for the match, which was a good return for me. I've only kicked multiple goals very seldomly. I've probably kicked about, in my career from juniors and some amateur teams, played 150 games and I've probably only kicked about 30, something like that. So I count that as one of my greatest achievements.
That's good. That's really good. I love that.
I like that you didn't have like a blitzing game. It's not like you got like 35 touches or something, a few goals or something. It's just like, no, man, I just made it. I just made it through the day. Like.
Yeah, I didn't tell anyone about that for about 2 months.
Yeah.
And then I told someone, I was like, you know what, that night or whatever, I was like, I fell asleep. And now I tell people happily, but the money was what the most brutal thing about it.
Of course.
$240 at that stage of your life, you don't have that kind of coin.
No.
You basically, what you thought you were saving on not going out, you just wasted.
Just threw it away.
The months of saving up.
But also, I guess, you overcame. You got it done. But that was always the rage back then. My dad would tell stories about the olden days of, waffle football where his mates played. They would have been tanked day of. You were probably still drunk out in the field, right?
Surely.
Sounds like you were still going, Nate.
That's the culture.
And they also just used to punch on a lot, right? And that was the standard.
Yeah, it was fine. Accepted.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I'm sure I've got some more. Maybe I can make the achievements. I'm doing the Rottnest Channel swim solo next year.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah. We haven't done
You've
it
got
yet.
too many sporting achievements, to be honest, Nate. I had to really dig around for just the softball one. You've done all sorts of gnarly shit.
It's just
Aren't you a runner?
slow
Bit
races.
of a runner?
Yeah, but I'm not good at it.
Right.
I just do it. I did the WA Marathon Club, had a half marathon on the weekend. Did that on Sunday morning.
Oh, my God. How would you go, Dan, if you had, what's a half marathon? That'd be 20-something Ks. How would you go?
I would die.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I'd be dead.
Yep.
If I've said that in the past to Nate, I said if they said run 20 Ks or you're dead, then you're looking at a dead man because I can't do that, even if my life's on the line.
I've just recently decided, well, not decided, I'm in a period of trying to get in shape.
Yeah.
12 weeks, starting the 31st of July. So I'm in day 8 of that.
Is this a segment you're working on as well? Is this something you're...
Yeah, this is Fat Chat.
Fat Chat.
Fat Chat. Podcast, yeah.
Cool.
Because we're all battlers trying to lose weight. And I've done 3 days in a row of physical exercise. I had a really bad first week. Didn't start in the first week. But Saturday, Sunday, Monday went hard. Today, I'm in agony. I can't move without complaining. I'm just every time I get up, I'm doing and then
the old man.
It's just.
And what were you doing going hard?
Went for a couple of runs.
Cool.
Couple of runs. Went. One of them was like at a park where you do like you run, stop. You do like some squats. You do some burpees. Run. It's like a non-stop hour-long sort of exercise thing.
And how are you motivated to do this? Are you doing this with other people? Is someone keeping you accountable?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, cool. There's about 150 people doing it. And there's a group chat. There's we've set goals. We talk about it on our podcast. So there's a bit of accountability that, the listeners that we have, I'm telling them that I'd like to drop from 75 kegs to 65 kegs.
Wow.
And which the guy that's organising this whole thing reckons 65 is too light. He said, "Yeah, you're
not that small."
No, he said you'll drop weight, which makes you feel like you're 65, but you're probably healthy, like 68, 69-ish.
Yeah.
With because you'll put on a bit of strength with the workout.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm really sore. I'm a really bad runner, and
don't go too hard. Don't go too hard. It puts you off. It's baby steps. Do something that is comfortable for you, where you're at.
Yeah. So like yesterday, I just went and played basketball for half an hour, and I was feeling good after that.
Don't you think there's a point of diminishing returns with exercise, and we should be just injecting young blood and doing surely we should all have a blood boy,
Bryan Johnson.
Because if you don't have time for all the exercise and stuff, you've just got to try the anti-aging stuff and bring that down a bit.
Can you inject animal blood into you? Is that a good idea, or why don't we do that?
You can. Yeah,
you can do whatever you want, mate. Honestly,
do they have the same blood types? Like, if I had to give, do they have a?
I don't know. We'd have to do the research on that, and we will do the research on that, and that's what we'll be opening with next week, which is the can you inject? And I assume you're talking about bear blood, right? Are you talking about bear blood?
No, I was thinking of Luffingham's blood because
because he's your most accessible blood boy.
Yeah. I'd probably want to improve his diet a little bit from just the polony log that we feed him.
That polony log.
Oh, he gets kibble as well. And he gets basically whatever dessert I'm having.
Yeah, and we're also going to be trying dog food on the podcast early next week.
I used to eat cat dry food.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I used to eat it in secret.
You timed this for the end of the episode. You knew we were at the end of the episode. You're like, I'm going to drop the cat thing now. This is a bad time to drop the cat thing.
Yeah,
what do you mean?
It was when I knew I shouldn't be doing it. I used to sneak down there sometimes. When I'd feed the cat, I'd give it some, then I'd have a little nibble.
Yeah. Got any late confessions, Dan? Because
I just want to quickly tell you what Xeno transfusion is.
Yeah.
Transfer of blood from one species into the veins of another.
Okay.
It has happened. It has happened in the past.
We've done that.
Ethical arguments. Yeah. Pigs. But no. That eating my daughter, who's 2.5, I've watched her grab some of my dog's dry food and put it in her mouth, and I yell, no,
because you don't want her to develop a taste for it, right? Because if she gets into it, she's like, no, it's actually really good. And,
that's how mine started. It was before I knew better. But then you get older, and then you're like, well, I've been eating it now anyway, so I know I'm not going to die.
Oh, that's great. What a way to
Thanks
end
so
it.
much for
Thanks so much for
joining us,
coming in, Dan. That was great.
Oh, mate, any time.
Loved it.
It's good. I like watching myself as a cartoon.
We'll be back next week. Thanks for stopping by. See you next time.